Let's bring in our guest for today. Chicago Blackhawks general manager Kyle Davidson is on with us, and it's been a great season for the Blackhawks so far. Kyle, we appreciate you jumping on here with us on Frankly Hockey. And listen, we're going to ask you about Connor Bedard right off the hop. And we know about the stats. We can see what is going on in year 3 compared to years 1 and 2 for him offensively. But give us something behind the scenes that we don't see that is different about Connor Bedard in year 3 compared to the start of his career.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Yeah, I thought maybe we'd start off. You wanted my thoughts on Frank's little online feud with Michael Bublé or something here.
Yeah, we can get into that. Absolutely.
No, I don't want to catch a stray out of that one. I'm good. Yeah, no, he's been fantastic. He's been great. I think the one thing that's just a little bit different, I don't know if it's behind the scenes something, that people don't see, is just I think he's just more comfortable in the league. He's just more settled in the situation. He understands what the grind is all about. He's been through it twice now. And I think the understanding and the development and education that he's gotten in his first 2 seasons, parlaying that into an off season that he took some things that he wanted to improve in his game, and he obviously has taken some big steps in that. But I just think it's an understanding and a comfort level. Stepping into camp this year and knowing what he's going to be facing every night in the NHL. So it's been an incredible start. Really excited for him. Really excited for our group and what he's brought to that group. And so just looking forward to continuing that here moving forward.
Kyle, it's one thing to understand and appreciate the grind as you mentioned Bedard has, but then to take those things and retool your game in a really significant way over one summer, the way that he was able to do, is like, can you touch a little bit on, like, not specifics, but like the mechanics and just things like how different does his skating in particular look to you versus last season, for instance?
Yeah, he absolutely. He's objectively faster. You see it every day in practice, obviously in the games. There's just an extra little bit of jump to his game, and I think it's made him that much more dangerous and that much more lethal, especially off the rush and coming up the ice with the puck. He's just a threat every time he touches the ice. And so I don't know specifically, honestly. I haven't gotten into the weeds with what he's done. I think it's something he's kind of kept pretty close to the vest. And so I'll leave him to that and let him keep his secrets to himself for now. But no, his skating has definitely taken a step, and you see it in the data. You see it just watching him every day. It's a big difference, and I think it's changed his game.
It's not just Connor Bedard. Obviously, there's a lot of young talent that you have in Chicago right now, and every player's development track to the NHL is different. But when you are developing players, the most important aspect to insert into that track is what?
Into a development track?
Yeah. Or just to give a player, whether it's a resource, whether it's something in the environment, but is there a consistent trait that you want to try and insert or provide to a young player as you try to develop them to NHL talent?
From the management side of things, I think it's just an honest evaluation and honest assessment of what's the best situation for that player. And making sure that they're in a situation to succeed, to be challenged, but also to succeed. I know at the start of our season, our coach Jeff Blashill made a comment, and it's something that we wholeheartedly agree on, is that it's most important for young players to thrive and not survive. And you want them to be able to handle the situation they're in. You want them to be able to continue to take positive steps in the situation they're in. And I believe that's probably the most important thing. What every player needs and what they need to get better at is so unique to that individual player. But I think the overarching theme for any young prospect coming up is that they're in a situation where not only are they going to be able to handle it, but they're going to be able to take positive steps in that and not just try and keep their head above water.
So we just rolled through your lines and pairs, and I think one of the most exciting parts about watching your team this year is that versus some other teams that have had some success this year, your roster is kind of still relatively half baked in the sense that you've got guys that are going to be part of this team for the long haul that are playing overseas, either in Sweden or the KHL. You've got guys in college, you've got guys playing major junior. I wanted to touch specifically on Anton Frondell, and obviously everyone's really excited in Chicago about what is next for him. What have the reports been? What have you seen from Frondell, and what's caught your eye?
Yeah, I think it's, first of all, I think the goal scoring has been exciting. I think that the way he scores goals is something that's very transferable to the NHL game, but also just the way he plays. He's a 200-foot player. He holds on to pucks, really good along the walls, and his game and kind of his size and the where he's going to go is a great complement to what we've got already in the system and already in the NHL, and really feel that when he comes over, he's going to be an impact player quite early on, and we'll be able to do that in a few different positions, whether it's on the wing, whether it's down the middle, playing down the lineup, up the lineup. We think he can play it any way that we need. And it will give us, we go back to development, it'll give us the opportunity to use him in any different situation, whether that is in more limited minutes if we need to back things off a bit because it's a lot for a young player, or if he's ready to go and play in the top six, then we feel he can handle that too. And so that versatility is just really exciting to us. And again, allow us to put him in the best situations to succeed when he does come over to North America.
What are those conversations like? Asking a player to come over to North America, because obviously they're chasing the NHL dream, but they're so young, and it's such a big life conversation. Just bigger picture, as a GM, what are those conversations like? Telling a player when you're ready to have him come over.
Well, it is exciting. It's exciting to be part of those. You're informing them that they're taking a big step in their career and in their lives. But it's also a lot of it is left in their hands. I'm a big believer that development is best served when owned by the player. Um, you're an input into those decisions and where you think they should go, but ultimately you want them to decide what's best for them. And in Anton's case, for example, he was a big believer in going back to Diergarten and competing in the SHL with his team that earned promotion last year. And that's what he thought was best for him, and we wholeheartedly supported that decision. And he was all in on that, and so we're really excited to track his progress. It's a great program that they run over there, and it's a great league. And so that's something that we take to heart, and we take great stock in is making sure the players are fully invested in their situation and involved in the decision making process when it comes to where they're going. And then when it becomes undeniable to us and they're ready to take that step and move up to the North American ranks, whether that's the AHL or the NHL, that is an exciting discussion to have, because you are, laying the groundwork for a progression in their careers.
I want to ask you about your young decor. It's been a little bit of an interesting season for both Artyom Levshunov and also Sam Rinzel. Candidly, I picked Rinzel as my Calder guy this year. I don't know if Matthew Schaefer is going to allow that to happen, but when you look at those two guys in particular, what have you seen from both their games and their progress?
Yeah, I think you're seeing, what you are seeing is the inevitable ups and downs of young defensemen in this league. It's natural. It's something that is expected. But we're also seeing that constant upward projection and progression that you'd want to see, and not having someone, again, in a situation where they're not surviving, they are just surviving and not thriving. And so you're seeing that confidence with the puck they both have. They both are really mobile defenders, and you're seeing them use that to their advantage. And you're seeing, some points we put on the board. Artie got his first goal not too long ago, which was really exciting. You're starting to see Sam grow in confidence with the puck coming up the ice, using his great skating ability. And so we're really excited about the future of those two players in particular. They're not the only ones, but it's just a really exciting time for our group on the back end and the upside that they do have, and really excited about those first 20 some games and the progression that they've showed so far.
And last one is about Jeff Blashill. I feel like he hasn't necessarily been talked about enough, and the impact that he's had on your group, just as a steadying voice and influence for someone that's been around, done a lot, and seen a lot, but to have that presence at the same time to command that from a really young team.
Yeah, I honestly can't say enough about Blash and the whole coaching staff, to be honest. They came in on day one, set a standard, set expectations, have held the players to those expectations, and I believe the group has really responded. They certainly downloaded a lot of new information and new system work on the team, and the young group early on in training camp, and it did take some time for them to get up to speed with that, but the response has been fantastic. The demeanor that they all have with such a young group is so important, and it's been great to see on my end that everyone's really cohesive in their messaging, in their response to that message, and no, I couldn't be more happy and more positive about the impact that Blash and the group has had on our players so far.
Kyle, the Blackhawks have been a really fun team to watch this season. Congrats on the success so far, and best of luck moving forward.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.